Swagger, this is SwaggerTurbo, and welcome back to part 3 of Scuteria Supari My Team Career Mode. If you haven't watched the part 1 and 2 yet, I would recommend you guys to go check it out first and then get to this episode because the first two races were amazing. We had a lot of racing going on in and around with us and the AI as well as AI versus AI. Obviously, we can see the livery on the car right now. It looks beautiful. Probably will be changing a few things here and there in the upcoming episodes. Just a spoiler. But yeah, let's get into this episode and let's see how part 3 of Imola goes. So as of now, we are bottom 3. So we have to upgrade the car quite a bit in the performance index. As of now, we are pretty slow compared to Haas. There's quite a decent gap. That's like an upgrade or two left between us and the Haas. But it's very close between the Alpine, Alfa Romeo, Alfa Tauri as well, I think, and the Haas, of course. So we are pretty close to them. We are almost a midfield runner, but we still have to get some upgrades in to fight for points consistently and not just by luck. So let's straight get into the R&D department. We already have few upgrades coming up in the next few days, but unfortunately it's only minor. So what I need to try and do now is probably upgrade my chassis a lot because our chassis is looking extremely bad. But I don't think I can put anything on upgrade because the department capacity has already been full. We obviously have a spec 0 for chassis. Gearbox is one thing which I can upgrade, but I'm gonna go with the engine upgrade as of now because our engine is also pretty bad. The chassis is the worst, of course, but we need to focus on chassis from here on out and make sure we have enough resource points to actually upgrade our chassis because aero is actually looking pretty okay, but our chassis is extremely bad. We have to obviously get a bit of money as well. Not going to be investing in the experience stat just now because our end goal is obviously Jehan over here. He is obviously going to be the main goal for season 2 at least, if not season 1. Liam is actually doing pretty okay as of now though. He has 76 focus, pretty decent rating as well, 65 rated person, and he's doing well in the races. He's not too far back, he's not too slow, he's not too fast. He's been doing a decent job with the kind of car he has right now, but our main person is right here, Jehan Darwala. It's gonna be a complete Indian only racing team for us. We might have a few sponsorship changes over here and there. We'll see about that. With obviously Jehan joining our team, probably will add a few sponsors here and there and a completely new livery for season 2. I am super hyped for that, but we are a long ways away from season 2, at least as of now. So we'll have to check on that afterwards. As of now, let's focus on what's going on in this season. As of now, we only have minor upgrades going on to the car, so nothing too great. Is basically just about getting the resource points, and we have a marketing department event. What is this even? Oh, we have a rival. Okay, so it's between Pierre Gasly and Magnussen. The thing is, I feel like the Haas is doing pretty well at this stage, at least of the whole season. Whereas AlphaTauris, if I'm not wrong, were like almost towards the end of the whole grid by the time we finish the whole race. Maybe because of a few unfortunate accidents, but I feel like me taking Magnussen would be a little harder for me to actually beat him. Whereas Gasly, I have a slight chance. So we're gonna take Gasly as of now. And there we go, the rivalry has started. We're gonna see if we can beat him. The past few races have been decent. We are still bottom 3 though. Even with the next upgrade, we're gonna be somewhere close to the bottom half of the mid pack. We have to try and put on as many chassis upgrades as possible and we'll see how it goes. So here's a small thing which I did, which caught me completely off guard. So as you can see on screen right now, we are gone directly into quali. I wasn't expecting to get into quali because I was expecting a free pack 2, then free pack 3, and then going to quali. I was a little confused, and then I realized that this is a sprint weekend. Our plan to actually change the engine is completely gone because we are into quali, and only after the quali did I realize that yes, we have a huge issue on our hands right now because we actually haven't changed our old engine. My plan was to use the first slot of the engine as my practice engines because the practice engines just wear off quite a lot, and I was going to use the other engine modes, like mostly second, third and fourth, the other slots basically, for my normal races. But that is completely gone now because we suddenly got put into quali, and only after quali did I realize that this game is actually not glitched and we have a sprint quali. So yeah, as you can see right now on screen, we have a qualifying lap, and I actually even changed the AI level to 85. Obviously, EA came up with this new update where they said they nerfed the AI straight line speed coming out of slow corners, but honestly speaking, I didn't see that much of a difference. And this is the first day, so maybe the game didn't update as well. So yeah, it's like it was just a cloud update for me especially. So I was just waiting for the update, and as soon as it was done, I went in. I was like, you know what, 85 should be okay because I used to race on 95, 94 in 2021. So I tried this, and as you can clearly see, we came dead last. I was so far lost because of the AI level that I had to bump the AI level down back to 79 and start the race. This qualifying was just, in the bin, mainly because of just atrocious AI speed. Look at the difference. They did a 116 and I'm 119, which is 2 seconds slower than the pole sitter.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. It's Sergio Perez on pole today, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Sainz, George Russell and Leclerc, Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Ricciardo and Lando Norris, Tsunoda, Gasly, Kevin Magnussen and Bottas, Mick Schumacher, Vettel, Guan Yu Zhou and Alex Albon, Liam Lawson, Latifi, Stroll and Kumar. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out.
Obviously, this is the first time I'm trying out the sprint qualifying format, and it is just interesting to say the least. But we have a very bad grid spot for this sprint quali as of now, and we're gonna try and get as many positions as we can. But the one thing that I, made sure to bump down is the AI level. We are back down to 79 and not on the OP 85 quali speed that these guys had. As I said, we are 2 seconds slower than Perez, and even like a second slower to I think Stroll, which is super bad, and we can't really help it. We get a perfect positioning on the grid though, which might help us in the start. It's 5 red lights for the Imola Grand Prix, and it's lights out and away we go for the Imola sprint qualifying. The start has been pretty okay for ourselves. We are behind Stroll, Lawson losing a few positions and getting it back, I think, going down the inside. We still have cold tires somehow. I don't know how that has happened, but we're gonna take it a little slow and try and preserve our front wing over here because we don't want to make a stupid mistake and start the main race from last as well. Obviously, the position that we get in the sprint qualifying is the same position where we start from, and there's a proper battle going on in front of us right now. We go down the inside of Stroll and he just gives us a slight amount of space and we take it. We are trying to give him as much space as possible because he was respectful and gave us a little bit of space. We take abuse actually a little bit of the ERS and try and stay in front of him. We are behind Lawson right now. I don't really want to take a fight with Lawson in the early stages at least. But Stroll has not completely gone. He tries to go around the outside. That move is never going to stick, especially because of the 3 small sausage curbs on the exit out of that corner. But somehow we have kept 20 and we go deep. We are trying not to hit into Lawson, but that is going to mean that we have a very, very bad exit out of the third last turn, I believe. But Stroll is side by side with us right now. It will be a very stupid move of him to go side by side and we actually keep it in front of him. Latifi also getting a bit slow because of Lawson, who's making a move on Schumacher. Lawson just took, I think, 2 positions in 1 or 2 turns, which is amazing. We have to use a lot of ERS though. These guys are very, very quick, so we gotta try and just stick with them during ERS, and that's what the speed I'm talking about. The AI is ever so quick on the straights, and Latifi is a little squirmy around the exit, and we go around the outside, very, very close to the gravel, and thankfully do not touch the gravel and slow ourselves. Latifi tries to go around the outside. The AI are super, super aggressive on me. Lawson making a dive bomb and a half on Vettel and Guanyu and almost getting two positions yet again. And what a race he has been having. Obviously, our main goal is to try and get Jehan Darwala, but I'm pretty sure with the way Lawson is driving, he is 100% going to get a seat at least in one of these cars. Guan Yu is getting a very weird exit. We go down the inside again. The AI is just a little slow and wary of the sausage curves on the left hand side of that particular turn. We are up in front of Guan Yu as well, up to 19th now, which is actually pretty decent progress for 2 laps. Latifi, Stroll, and Zhou are having a proper ding dong battle behind us, and that has opened up the gap to around 1 second. All I have to do right now is focus on staying behind Schumacher and make sure I don't lose that much time because these guys are very, very quick on the straights. And there are two people in the pits. Tsunoda and Norris are into the pits. And here's a replay of what exactly happened. Tsunoda tried to go around the outside. It was 3 wide though. And while getting back onto the track, Tsunoda collects Norris. And that's basically a pinball effect off of Ricardo, who's Norris's just teammate. But yeah, that is very unfortunate for him. We have Ricardo going slow, talking about him. We have Ricardo going extremely slow on the track. He's been overtaken by 4 or 5 AI and he has an engine blowout. That's the second race in a row that a McLaren has had an engine blowout. Lawson and Schumacher having a proper fight as well over here. And there we go. We can see Ricardo just retiring in the background. And these guys have just swapped positions. Lawson and Schumacher were, I think Lawson was in front of Schumacher, and they have just traded positions. And now I'm gonna try and overtake Lawson because if I stay behind him for too long, it's gonna harm me, especially because we have Latifi behind, who is a very, very quick as well. We need to try and just stick with these guys and make a small mistake coming out. And skipping to the end of lap 3, somehow stayed in front of Latifi. But as I was saying, these guys are super quick. We have ERS, we have DRS, we deploy the ERS as well so that we can at least do something against this AI, but they are so quick. He's going side by side, already almost overtaken us. We're going to go around the outside, give him as much space as possible, slight bang of wheels, but I feel like that's perfectly fine. Skipping to lap 5 now, we are very, very close to Lawson, and I'm going to be using overtake over here just to overtake Lawson over here and try and get behind Schumacher and maybe even overtake him. I just found out that I am slightly faster than Lawson and I tried to go around the outside. Lawson is still down the inside though, but Schumacher is going to be blocking Lawson perfectly for us to overtake Schumacher going down the inside, and that was so close to Vettel. We almost lost our front wing trying to go for the move, but Schumacher trying to come back at us, but we just have that slight bit of advantage as of now. But because of a weird exit, Lawson gets an amazing run on Schumacher right behind us, as you can see, and he's trying to overtake Schumacher and reclaim his position. He obviously is pretty quick down the straight, so I have to be very careful here because these guys will just breeze past me if I'm not careful. Obviously, we have DRS and DRS, but still these guys are ever so quick. I'm going to try and give the slipstream to Lawson, but Schumacher is just way too quick, already right behind us, and even with DRS, this time around, we survive. Skipping to lap 8 now, we see Schumacher, basically the inevitable happening. Schumacher overtakes us with the help of DRS, and in the exact same spot in the next lap, Stroll as well as Guan Yu are on our tail with DRS, using a lot of ERS as well, and both of them overtake us. But we're not going to make it easy for Zhou. We're going to just stay side by side, and Zhou hits onto the side pod and loses his front wing completely. That was a very weird move by Zhou. He was side by side, obviously. I tried to give him as much space as possible, but unfortunately, we go into each other. And there's a car on the left, which is just standing still. I think there's a car which is retired, which I haven't really figured who it is just till now. I think that was Bottas. But yeah, skipping to the end of lap 9 now, Latifi has caught us up and he's also just breezing past us with the help of the RS and obviously the OP straight line speed that these guys have. It was just really annoying and really frustrating that even with ERS and DRS, these guys were just flying past us, which was, yeah, just bad. Looking at the front runners though, we have both the Ferraris trying to go for a move around the outside actually. Leclerc is trying to keep it around the outside of Sainz, and he actually does. He manages to make the move, and while this was happening, Verstappen, behind his old rival from 2021, makes the same kind of move that Leclerc does on Sainz, and he does it on Hamilton. Verstappen basically just mirror moved Leclerc, but on Hamilton, while Leclerc was making a move on his own teammate Carlos Sainz. What amazing racing this has been from these lot. This is basically a 5-man race for P2. Perez was pretty far in front and he was in his own league. But these guys, these 5 of them, were really close to each other and trying to get as many points as possible, I guess. And it was a pretty decent race from Perez, who wins the Imolan sprint qualifying for the first time ever, followed by Leclerc in second, Sainz in third, Verstappen fourth, Hamilton and Russell, and so on. As for us, we couldn't really make inroads on Latifi at all. He just flew past us, and yeah, the straight line speed that these guys had were crazy, and we came 17th at the end. It's just slightly sad, as I was saying earlier, but Alex Albons gets the driver of the day for the first ever sprint quali. Obviously, the top 8 get some points at least. We do not even come close to points, and at least we gained a few positions, which is kind of nice thanks to a few DNFs here and there. And let's see where we end up in the race.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Sergio Perez will lead us away from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Verstappen, and Sir Lewis Hamilton, and Russell, Fernando Alonso, Gasly, Magnussen, and Esteban Ocon, Vettel, Albon, Mick Schumacher, and Liam Lawson, Stroll, Latifi, Kumar, and Lando Norris, Tsunoda, Joe, Ricciardo. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty, and Valtteri Bottas begins the race from the back of the grid. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
After the dreadful sprint quali, I'm just hoping that we can do something from P17, because we actually can maybe, get a few, maybe just get into points, get a few positions here and there, and obviously the end goal is points. We have 3 points in the constructor as well as WDC as of now. Lawson, with the kind of car we have, doing pretty well. It's like he's not too far from us, and he also needs to just get that slight bit of luck to actually get into the points. We have got very lucky and got into the points twice, but soon come, he'll probably get his first points very soon. But yeah, it's getting to the 5 red lights for the Imola race now, and it's 5 red lights and away we go. We have a pretty decent start, but Norris on the softs gets an amazing start. He already has gone in front of Latifi as well as me. We're using a lot of ERS here because Tsunoda is around the outside, and we try and go down the inside of Latifi. Latifi gives us the amount of space that we need. We still stay around the outside, but Norris is going a little slow, so we also had to let go of the throttle there. And oh boy, what a launch Norris has got in the first lap itself. Tsunoda is right behind us, and I was actually thinking that, hey yo, there's no way this race just goes from bad to worse after that sprint quali. But I hate to break it to you guys, it actually did. Coming to the end of lap 5 now, Tsunoda and Ricciardo, both of them obviously have DRS now, and they just breeze past us, even with us dumping ERS and with DRS as well. I just gave up at this point and didn't, waste my ERS, because I knew for a fact that, we need to obviously save our MG UK as well. So I was just like, you know what, I might use the battery here and there, but we were not even close to actually getting into points. We had a small battle over here with Ricciardo though, which was actually pretty fun. But at the end of the day, they were just way too quick, and yeah, just were able to keep their position. This was a very weird move by Ricciardo. Obviously, he's pretty desperate to try and overtake and get into points. But we got extremely squeezed by Ricardo, and that was the end of our battle right there. Lap 11 now, we are behind Bottas and managed to keep behind him, but we make a very easy mistake, and because of simulation damage, our front wing is just completely gone. I completely misjudged where these guys are gonna brake and just rammed into Bottas, and that's pretty much a GG because I have to make a early pit stop and probably won't really finish the race even close to points because of this early pit stop. Because we're gonna come out and our tires are gonna be super second hand by the end of this race, which is super annoying. And that's pretty much it for this race actually, because the whole race it was just us struggling to keep up with the AI and making small mistakes here and there, especially this one, which was like the biggest mistake I've made till now. Was pretty happy that I didn't DNF, but yeah, because I don't really use flashbacks either, it was pretty bad. We even had a retirement from this race of, I think, Sonoda. And yeah, we had this is the second retirement of this particular race, and that was pretty much it. It was, as I said, it was a very depressing race. 32 laps, we just going round and round, not being able to see anyone pretty much, and we ended up 21st. And after the race ended, as you can see on screen, there was a huge, crash between Magnussen and I think it was Sainz. It was very weird because they crashed after the race finished. I obviously couldn't get a replay of that because the race had ended already. And the only clip that I had was us going into the back of, I think that was Guan Yu Zhou. But yeah, all in all, just a very weird race and a very weird weekend. I don't really know what to say, honestly speaking. Congrats to Perez for winning yet another race. Obviously, he did very well in the sprint, and he's actually beating Max Verstappen in the series. So it's actually pretty interesting to see where the series is gonna end up. But as I said, in the next episode, we probably will have a few livery changes, and if not, we'll see how it goes. Max right now only got 8th. He had a lot of issues here and there. He, banged into someone, lost his front wing, and someone actually went into him, not the other way around. So yeah, he finally managed to get back up to 8th, which is good for him. But as for our race and Liam, we this was basically a reality check. We came 18th and 21st, and even 21st was just because of a few DNS here and there. As for the drivers and constructors, Red Bull is on top because of Perez. Verstappen is actually third now, and Leclerc has overtaken him, and by quite a margin. So this is getting very intense, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this, make sure to leave a like. Just a weekend to forget for me, especially. And do comment down in the comment section if you guys want to see some kind of this highlights, or do you want to actually see me just drive around in circles, which would be pretty boring. Hopefully, next time around, we have much more action than this. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye and peace.